Hey guys, Euroleague round 29 is about to begin. Let's start with the usual, with the credit bank.
Hello from me as well. So Credit Bank players that overachieved last week, Lucic, Poirier, and Edwards. I mean, it's been quite usual for Edwards to be there, 30 points with 6 3-pointers, 6 out of 10. Another great game for him. He increased further his value, and also he has another game coming up that potentially, it's a good matchup for him, playing at home to explode. Lucic, since he's back from the injury, he's been very consistent and seems to be one of the main go-to guys for Herbert's team, and he's pretty much playing, if not the most, but one of the more minutes in the game. So still, in a good value. That I think his value here is a mistake. It's not 13.1, but it's 10.2, I think.
10.1.
10.1. So it's 10.1. Yes. And then we have Poirier. He also increased by 0.7 his credits. He is 13.1. He's not that consistent. He had an amazing game recently. Perhaps is a bit expensive, I would say. Right now, there are some, solutions around his credits that you could look at. And then we have Banky with another good home win. So recently, FS is doing well at home. So 7.2 credits, but I would say that is a tough game coming up for them as they travel to Germany playing at Bayern. Down on the downside, we have Petrusev, but of course he was coming back from illness to play, didn't play a lot of minutes, so this is more a good indication that now he's cheaper. 0.6 credits, a good discount, to get him back on your team. Most of us, taking into account what his coach Sferopoulos said before the game, we didn't have him on our teams, so chance to get a discount then in the bank. And then we have Brown from Partizan. I think he's been, I would say, great for all the previous 3 games before the game versus Olympiacos, but maybe there is a chance now to bounce back, so also a good discount for him. And finally, Campazzo, he had an off game, 0.6, at least in terms of fantasy, and in a game that Real didn't do well, so 0.6 also lost on credits. Perhaps is an okay valuation, but there are a couple of cards also you could consider around his valuation. And finally, Messina, he would have a tough job now on with Mirotic being injured. So, although low value, perhaps quite risky. So, with that highlights, let's move now to our results.
Yes, and as you see, the highlight of round 28 for us, it was that we gained 1.3 credits. We had much better round with 150, 4.15 fantasy points in total. We got a big boost from Ballon Boy with 28 fantasy points, Shengelia 22, and then of course Edwards with 31.9. And Bajangov as a captain gave us 34.65. On the downside, it was the injury of Nikola Mirotic. He managed to give us 15 fantasy points, but due to the injury, he was off. He didn't play the rest of the game. He just played, I think, more or less 17 minutes. We don't have any update yet for his condition, but he might lose. There are some rumors he might lose the whole season, but let's see. Then Coach Pepe, -5, -5 fantasy points. Not the best choice for Coach for us. But then from the bench, Yul, Tonut, and Schneider just gave 0 fantasy points. But Yul and Tonut gave us something back in terms of players from the bench, the fielders from our team. So overall, I think it was a good round for us. But of course, we made some changes, and let's see if some big names are traded before round 29. But first, let's see the coach of the week.
So last week we had Penaroya. He did give, I think, 20 points, if I remember correct, with a big win versus Alba. This week we are choosing Saras Jaskevicius. He's playing at home versus Asvel, and he's one of the expensive ones, so 8 credits, but we think, they have what it takes to get that win. However, if you need some cheaper options, perhaps you could consider Herbert playing at home versus FS, 6.2, I think, his credits. And then maybe also you could consider Sferopoulos at 5.7. They also play at home versus Milano. But these are more risky.
Yeah, 6.1, the credits for Herbert.
Not for Herbert.
And also, as you pointed out, Saras is a more safe option because, unfortunately, also Theo Maledon was injured. So Aspel will not have Maledon as it looks like versus Fenerbahce.
So let's move on then to our trades.
Yeah, so let's see our trades for round 29. As you see, some big names are traded out. Nikola Mirotic, due to the injury, we have to trade him. Then TJ Shorts, he managed 20 fantasy points, but we needed his to take advantage of the 19.3 credits because, as you see, Harris and Coach Pepe, they're a 4 credit player and coach, so we wanted to improve in that area. So instead of Mirotic, you see Lucic. As Bill said, Lucic is, I think now he's getting, due to the injury of Devin Booker, he stepped up, so he's with Edwards and Napier and Weilerbab, the player that puts up the score and grabs the rebounds for Bayern. Then Elio Kobo instead of TG Shorts. Elio Kobo is, I think, all the lights are, of course, for Mike James. Then, of course, you have Kalaitis. He's injured, fortunately. You have all these. Lloyd came back from Maccabi. But Elio Kobo has this talent of being the glue guy and one of the main guards for Monaco. So last round, 18.7 fantasy points, and versus Maccabi, he had another chance to step up for Monaco and perform. And as you see next to him is his teammate Thijs, newcomer. Welcome back to Euroleague after some many years in the NBA, but his game versus Paris was amazing. 26.4 fantasy points. So with 12 credits, he's one of the best options you can have at center for your team. And then for coach, we spent the 8 credits to have Coach Saras. We go with a safe option here out of the 3 that Bill mentioned for our team. So now you see the trades. Let's see the formation and the whole team.
So Saras is our coach, and our center is filled with Polomboy and Dice, and both play at turn 1. At the forward position, we have Sengelia, that he had a decent game last round. He had also a good game during the first time around versus Real. Potentially he should follow that up in a game that Real would, do everything to get the win. Someone needs to step up for Virtus, so Şengelya should hopefully do that. And then we have Okobo as our captain for turn 1. We struggled about choosing the captain because we equally thought about Bolomboy and Thais, even Şengelya, but we thought we're gonna risk with an explosive game from Okobo. It may come, it may not, but the reason we go with that big risk is that in our bench we have Lucic, Edwards and Vezenkov, and especially between Vezenkov and Edwards we see a potential captain on turn 2. And finally we're closing the team with Yu playing turn 1, so he's on our starting 5. Snyder as our 6th player, as he had a good game in the German league. And finally Tonut. Both of these 3 players, especially Tonut and Yul, has been constantly recently in our, after the break, I would say, in our bench, and they are actually producing points, and they have increased a lot their value, so we are happy with them and we keep them. As I mentioned in one of the previous shows, at this point of the season we are not really looking so much into defending our credits or building a lot credits, but we're looking to get as many points as possible. So we still have players that they're above the 4 credits, but around 5 credits, and still that doesn't hurt that we have 3.4 credits on the side for next round. But till then, I would say everything to consider and play for. So enjoy round 29, guys, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, guys, enjoy Euroleague round 29. Post your questions, remarks, and your teams if you want, and we will post everything on X as usual. And see you soon. Enjoy basketball.